Found in the dirt, the alien jungle was quiet. Too quiet. Thick fog covered the ground like a dirty blanket, and the air smelled of ash and metal. Dane Carter stepped carefully between twisted roots and broken rocks. He was alone. Just one human, in an alien world where nothing looked friendly. His mission was simple: find scrap parts from the old crash sites. But today felt different. The birds weren't singing. No insects buzzing. Just silence. And then, he saw something strange. Half buried in the mud, near a burnt-out alien pod, was a body. He froze. It looked female. Slender arms, long fingers, silver blue skin. She wasn't moving. Her face was hidden under layers of mud and dried blood. Was she dead? Dane moved closer, slowly. He kept his rifle ready, just in case. He knelt down and reached out. His hand hovered above her shoulder. She looked broken, abandoned, alone. Then, she breathed a soft, shaky breath. Weak, but real. Holy hell, Dane whispered. You're alive. He dropped to his knees. Hey, can you hear me? No answer. Her eyes were shut tight. Her lips trembled. He didn't understand who or what she was, but he knew one thing. He couldn't leave her here. Dane gently turned her over. She moaned, barely conscious. Mud covered her back like armor. Her clothes were torn, soaked with water and blood. She was shaking. Damn. You're freezing, he muttered. He checked her for weapons. None. No gear, no ID. Just an alien woman in a ruined world, dying slowly in the dirt. Without thinking, Dane pulled off his cloak and wrapped her in it. She was burning with fever. All right, he said to her. You're coming with me. Dane carried her all the way back to his outpost, just a small shack built into the cliffside hidden by thick vines. He laid her gently on the only bed he had. She didn't open her eyes. Her breathing was rough, shallow, but steady. He grabbed a clean cloth and a bowl of water. Then he began to wipe the mud off her face. Bit by bit, her true features appeared. Sharp cheekbones, high forehead, faint glowing tattoos along her temples. She wasn't ugly. In fact, there was something strangely beautiful about her. But it wasn't just her looks. It was the way her eyes fluttered like a scared child's, the way she flinched every time he touched her. She had been through hell. As Dane cleaned the blood from her arms, he noticed something odd. Small cuts and bruises, but none were natural. These were marks from being beaten, left to die. His jaw tightened. Who the hell did this to you? Suddenly her eyes opened. Bright, pale blue, filled with fear. She gasped and tried to sit up but collapsed. Hey, easy, Dane said, holding her gently. I'm not here to hurt you. She stared at him, breathing hard. Her lips moved, but no words came. It's okay, he said softly. You're safe now. She blinked and nodded. Just once. Hours passed. She slept. He watched. Rain hit the roof in soft waves, and night crept in slowly. Dane sat beside her, deep in thought. Who was she? Why was she left there to die? And most importantly, was someone coming back to finish the job? Suddenly, beep, beep, beep. The motion sensor on the edge of the camp lit up. Something was moving in the jungle. Dane stood up, grabbed his rifle, and looked at the screen. 3 shapes moving fast, not animals, humanoid. Great, he muttered. We've got company. He looked back at the girl, still asleep, still weak, but now he knew. She wasn't just some lost alien. She was being hunted, and he had just stepped into the middle of it. The cleaning rain poured hard on the jungle roof, but inside the cliff shelter, it was deadly quiet. Dane Carter sat beside the half-conscious alien girl, his fingers curled tight around his rifle. The scanner showed 3 heat signatures outside, moving slowly, like predators sniffing for prey. They're close, he whispered. But they don't know I'm here yet. He looked down at the girl. She was still wrapped in his cloak, breathing heavy. Mud still clung to her skin, her face, her arms, her silver blue neck. She looked less like a threat now, and more like a ghost, dragged from the edge of death. But Dane wasn't the kind of man who watched people die. "Time to wake up, mystery girl," he muttered. He grabbed the cloth again, warmed more water, and began cleaning her properly. Not like a soldier, but like a human. Her skin was smooth beneath the dirt. Her body was bruised in too many places. Burns, slashes, rope marks. Somebody had tied her up, tortured her, then dumped her in the mud like trash. Every wound Dane cleaned made his anger grow. "You didn't deserve this," he said quietly. Even though he knew she couldn't understand, she stirred, eyes half open, weak, confused. Where? "You're safe," he said. "For now." Her lips trembled. She tried to speak but stopped. She looked down at her own body, covered in scars and bandages, then up at him. Confused. Scared. Dane nodded slowly. "Yeah, I pulled you out of that dirt pile. And no, I'm not with them. I don't know who they are." He saw her eyes shift, almost like she recognized the word, them. Something inside her changed. She tried to sit up. Failed. "Not safe," she whispered. "They come." "I know," Dane said, voice tight. "3 of them, right outside." She blinked hard. "Hide. Gone. They want me. Gone." Dane leaned closer. "Why? Who are you?" She clutched the blanket. "Rin. Name Rin Kyle." Her voice was cracked, accent strange, but Dane understood enough. "All right, Rin," he said. "I'm Dane, human, and I don't leave people behind." She looked at him like that word, human, meant something important. Like she hadn't heard it in a long time. A soft light blinked on the wall. Alert. Outer perimeter. Breached. Distance 24 meters. Dane stood up fast, grabbed his gear. He turned back once. "If they find us, we run, got it?" Rin nodded. Her body still shook, but now her eyes were awake. She wasn't just some helpless creature anymore. She was afraid. But she was ready. Outside, shadows moved like smoke through the trees. Tall figures, black armor. Silent steps. They didn't make a sound. They weren't looking for a fight. They were looking for a target. Inside the shack, Dane helped Rin onto her feet. She couldn't walk yet, legs too weak. But she held on to him like her life depended on it. "Hold tight," he said. "We take the back tunnel. There's a drop. We slide down to the lower basin." She didn't argue. They moved fast, quiet, down a narrow path lit by faint blue lights. The back of the shelter opened into a rocky cave mouth leading to a steep cliff. Below, jungle, fog, and somewhere, safety. "I'll go first," he said. "You slide right after." She hesitated. "Dane, why help?" He looked back, almost, surprised by her question. "Because someone should have helped you long ago." And with that he jumped. She followed. The fall wasn't far, but rough. Sharp branches scraped them, rocks cut skin, but they landed together in thick, wet mud. Below, safe, for now. Dane coughed, helped Rin to her feet again. She smiled, barely, but it was real. Far above, the hunters searched the empty shelter, but Dane and Rin were gone. They walked through the dark jungle, step by step, breath by breath. Every few minutes, Dane would glance at her, not to check, for danger, but because something had changed in her. That look in her eyes, that spark, that fire. It wasn't just survival now, it was hope, and for a woman left to die in the dirt. Hope was the most dangerous weapon of all. Her broken language. They walked until Rin could walk no more. Her legs gave out beside a moss-covered stone near a dried-up stream. She fell to her knees, hands sinking into the wet leaves. Her chest rose and fell in short, painful breaths. "Dane," turned quickly. Hey, don't push yourself. He helped her sit, resting her back against a tree. Her skin glowed faintly in the dark, tiny lines of bioluminescence flickering across her collarbone. It looked beautiful, but to Dane it looked like pain. He handed her water. She sipped carefully like it was gold. Then she looked up at him and tried to speak again. Dane. Her voice was low, broken. No place, no go back. They want dead. Dane nodded slowly. Yeah, I got that. She looked confused, like she was trying to fit the right words together. Family, before. She paused, fingers curling around the water flask. But not now. Not family now. Not after. I change. Dane narrowed his eyes. What do you mean, you changed how? She looked down at her hands, glowing veins, pale skin, small sparks under her nails. Different now, not same, not like them. She struggled. Wrong. I was... Test. Dane's heart sank. You were a test subject? She didn't understand the word, but her eyes knew the truth. Yes, she whispered. Father say, no hurt, say gift, but others. Scared. They take. Cut. Bury. Now it made sense. Her body. The scars. The fear. She wasn't just some refugee. She was made into something, and that terrified the ones who once called her family. Dane sat beside her, the jungle around them silent and watching. So they tried to kill you because of what you became. She didn't respond right away. Then softly, I only wanted, be good, be loved, be useful. That hit Dane harder than it should have. Hours passed. They found an old broken shelter deep in the valley, some kind of forgotten survey station from Earth's early expeditions. A cracked solar panel still fed power to the door. Dane pried it, open. Inside, rusted machines, dust, broken screens, but dry. He laid Rin on a padded bench and built a fire in a metal bin. As it crackled, the light danced on the walls and on her tired face. She watched him closely now. Less afraid, more curious. You not like them, she said softly. Them who? She pointed upward, toward the stars. Humans. Who come before. Loud. Take. Kill. Dane smirked bitterly. Yeah, we're not all great. Rin tilted her head. But you... kind. Why? He looked at her. Because you looked like someone the universe forgot. Because no one deserves to die alone in the dirt. But all he said was, because I was once left behind too. Her eyes softened. Then she did something he didn't expect. She reached out and touched his chest. Not romantic, not weird. Just a gesture of silent thanks. A connection. Suddenly the shelter's alarm beeped. Dane jumped to his feet. Rin sat up, panic in her eyes. No, not again. Dane checked the screen. One signal. Close. Moving slow. Just one this time, he whispered. He grabbed his rifle and peeked through the broken window, then froze. It wasn't one of the hunters. It was a small drone. Old, human tech. It hovered down, scanning the area, then focused directly on Rin. Red light blinked. Target confirmed. Damn it, Dane cursed. It's marking her. He fired. One clean shot. The drone sparked and dropped. But it was too late. Whoever was watching knew exactly where they were now. Rin stood shakily. They come. Soon. Strong ones. Dane looked at her. You know what they'll do if they catch you, right? She nodded. He clenched his jaw. Then we don't let that happen. She looked at him. Eyes wide. Scared. But also trusting. I know strong, she whispered. He stepped forward, fierce now. Then you borrow my strength. We'll survive this together. She blinked, and for the first time, smiled. A small smile. But real outside, the jungle roared, and far above, in the cold, dark sky, something was descending. The hunt begins boom. The sky cracked like it had been torn open by invisible claws. Rin jumped. Dane grabbed his rifle and ran to the window. Above, the valley, through the broken clouds, something huge dropped from orbit. A black, sharp-edged hunter ship glowing with red lines descended in silence like a falling shadow. Dane's gut tightened. Too fast, too quiet. They're not here to scout. They're here to kill. Rin backed into the corner of the old shelter, her breath shaky. No more run. They find now. Always find. Dane turned to her. Then we don't run. She stared at him. Fight? He nodded. We fight. Her lips trembled. I know weapon. He tossed her a small shock rod from the emergency kit. Then you learn fast. Within minutes, the ship landed somewhere beyond the cliffs. But Dane knew the pattern. First, they send the ship. Then they send the pack. Stealth hunters bred, for tracking and killing enhanced beings. Not machines, not drones. These were real monsters in armor, and they had Rin's scent. Dane checked the shelter's old systems. 1 defense turret, offline. 1 battery, half charged. He worked fast, rigging up what he could. Rin sat near the fire, quiet, but not broken. She closed her eyes, whispering words in her alien tongue. Her skin pulsed faint blue again, stronger, now, like something inside her was waking up. Dane looked over. That normal? She opened her eyes, glowing now. Not normal, not before, but now. I feel. Feel what? She touched her chest. Power. But pain, too. Dane didn't answer. He knew the look. She was changing. Suddenly. Movement outside. Not footsteps. Not voices. Just a stillness so sharp it made the air feel wrong. Then, clink. Metal against stone. Dane aimed toward the door. Get back. But it was too late. Crash! The wall exploded inward. A figure walked through the smoke. Tall. Metallic armor. Silver. Claws. Masked face. Eyes like red fire. It didn't speak. It just moved toward Rin. Dane fired. Bang! 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 The creature staggered, but didn't fall. It lunged. Dane tackled it, slamming it into the wall. Sparks flew. It hissed, then tossed him across the room like a rag doll. He hit the ground hard, coughing. The hunter turned back toward Rin, its claws ready. But this time, Rin didn't cower. She stood. The glow from her skin surged, lighting the room in soft blue light. Her hands shook, but she stepped forward. No, she said. No more. She raised the shock rod with both hands and jammed it into the hunter's chest. Stop! Electricity blasted through the alien's body. It shrieked, a deep, unnatural sound, then collapsed. Rin dropped the rod, gasping. Her knees buckled. Dane scrambled up and caught her before she hit the floor. Not bad, he muttered. You learn fast. But it wasn't over. The sensor beeped again. 2 more signals. Getting closer. Dane swore under his breath. They're coming in groups, Rin whispered. They won't stop. Dane looked at her. Then we stopped them first. They set traps, old metal wires, explosive cores, flash flares, whatever scraps Dane could find in the broken shelter he turned into weapons. Rin tried to help, but she kept stopping, holding her head, like something was screaming inside her. You okay? He asked. She shook her head. Not me. Something. Waking up. What does that mean? I don't know, but I feel old things. I hear voices. Dane stared at her. What kind of voices? My father, his lab, his memories. He put something inside me. You're remembering? No, she whispered. It's remembering me. The second wave came like ghosts. One appeared on the roof. Another crawled through the cracks, but this time Dane was ready. The traps worked. One exploded, one got blinded by flares. Dane shot clean, short bursts, dropped them both. But not before one of them screamed, a signal. They were calling for more. Dane turned to Rin, panting. "We have to go, now." But Rin didn't move. She was frozen, eyes glowing, body shaking. Like something inside her was tearing itself open, she whispered, "I see it. I see what they did." Dane grabbed her shoulders. "Rin, stay with me." Her voice cracked. "I was not born. I was built." He didn't know what to say, only that the girl he saved wasn't just a survivor. She was a weapon, and someone was here to erase her before she remembered how to fight back. Far above, the hunter ship's lights turned blood red. More were coming. Dane loaded his last rounds. "We make our stand here." Rin stood beside him, no longer shaking, no longer weak. "I remember now," she said, "and I won't die again." The lab's secret. The storm had passed, but the silence was louder than ever. Dane and Rin moved through the jungle under the silver light of twin moons. They were covered in mud and bruises. Rin's skin still glowed faintly, like a soft warning light that couldn't be turned off. They had only one place left to run, and Rin remembered it. "West, behind Broken Ridge," she said. "Old door, beneath the roots." Dane didn't ask how she knew. Her eyes were focused now, locked in a memory that didn't feel like hers. But it was inside her head. He followed her, through thorns, across sharp stone, until they reached it. A fallen tree. And underneath metal, old earth metal. Half buried, rusted, but still alive. She placed her hand on a panel. It beeped once, and opened. They stepped into the forgotten ruin. Lights flickered to life one by one. This was not alien. This was human. An underground lab, wrapped in vines and dust and forgotten tech. Symbols of the old Earth Science Division still shone faintly on the wall. Nova 13 Bioproject. Dane stopped walking. Wait, Nova 13? That's not possible. That program was shut down 60 years ago. Rin looked at him. No shut, just hidden. They walked deeper. Old pods lined the walls. Some were smashed. Some still had dried blood inside. The smell was of copper and death. One wall had dozens of childlike handprints. Burned into the steel, Rin touched one. It matched hers. Dane stared in silence. "What did they do here?" he finally asked. She stepped toward a cracked screen. It blinked, then flickered to life. A man's face appeared. Mid-40s, gray beard, cold eyes. Rin whispered, "Father." The recording played. "This is Dr. Hal Varon. If you're seeing this, then I've failed. They'll come for her, because she's not a mistake. She's a miracle. She wasn't born from blood. She was engineered, part human, part alien. The first bridge between worlds." Dane's eyes went wide. "She's half human?" The message continued. "Her DNA holds the cure to the plague that's coming. But the board didn't want peace. They wanted war, weapons, so they ordered her erased. I refused. I hid her. But she's remembering now, isn't she? Rin, if you're hearing this, run or fight, but never trust them again." The screen cracked and went black. Rin stood frozen. Tears slipped down her glowing cheeks. He saved me. But I forget. They make me forget." Dane put a hand on her shoulder. "You remember now? That's what matters." She shook her head. "No, they come, not for me, for what's inside me." Her hands curled into fists. "They think I'm a weapon, but I just wanted to be loved." Suddenly, boom. The earth above shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Red lights flashed. Intrusion alert, they had been found. Dane grabbed his rifle. "No time to cry, Rin. Can you fight?" She turned to him, her glow brighter, her eyes sharper. "I don't need to fight," she said. "I need to awaken." She stepped into the center of the lab. A platform rose from the ground. metal arms. Scanning her body, Dane panicked. "What are you doing?" She looked back. Calm now. Powerful. This lab was made for me. It didn't just make me. It can finish what it started. The machine wrapped her in light. Circuits blinked. Data spun. Old Earth code merged with alien fire. She screamed, but not in pain. She was unlocking what had been sealed for decades. Outside, the hunters arrived. 10 this time, claws, blades, red glowing armor. They moved like ghosts, deadly, cold. Ready. One hissed into its comm. Target confirmed, execute on sight, no remains. Back inside, Rin stepped down from the platform. She wasn't limping anymore. She was glowing from head to toe. Her hair shimmered like threads of starlight. Her voice when she spoke was not broken. It was whole. "They wanted to erase me," she said. "But they made me unstoppable." Dane looked at her, half amazed, half afraid. "You sure you're still you?" She smiled softly. "I'm more me than I've ever been." Then she turned toward the exit. "They want war," she whispered. "I'll show them why that was a mistake." When she stood again, outside, the jungle trembled. Heavy boots stomped through wet earth. Red laser sights cut through the mist like snakes. The hunters were closing in. 10 of them, armored, silent, heartless. Each one trained to kill with no questions, no mercy. Inside the forgotten lab, Dane Carter braced himself. He loaded his last rifle mag, pulled 2 stun grenades from his belt. 10 of them, he whispered. 2 of us. Behind him, soft footsteps echoed on the cold floor. But they didn't sound weak anymore. They sounded deliberate. Rin stepped into the light, not broken, not afraid, not hiding. She had changed. Her body shimmered with a soft alien blue glow. Her scars were gone, her back straight. Her eyes, 2 glowing moons. The fear was still there, somewhere deep inside her. But something else had taken over. Clarity. She now understood what she was and what she was not. Dane stared. "Rin, what did you do?" She looked at him, calm and centered. "The machine healed me, unlocked everything they sealed away. I remember now." "Everything?" She nodded slowly. "My creation. My father's last words. The betrayal. The pain. The mission." Her voice didn't shake anymore. She wasn't speaking like a child anymore either. She was speaking like someone reborn. Dane asked, "So, what are you going to do?" She turned toward the exit. "When they come, I'm going to stand." Crash! The old lab doors exploded in a burst of smoke and sparks. Hunters charged in, blades glowing, claws extended. Dane raised his rifle. "Let's dance!" But before he could fire, Rin raised her hand. A wave of glowing energy blasted, from her fingers like thunder through air. The first 2 hunters hit the wall hard. Armor cracked, bones broke. They didn't get up. Rin didn't even flinch. Dane froze. "You've got powers?" She answered without turning around. "I am the weapon they were trying to build. But they forgot. A weapon can choose its target." The rest of the hunters charged. 6 of them. Dane joined in this time. He slid behind a pillar, fired 3 perfect rounds. 2 hunters fell. 1 dodged and leapt toward him. But Rin was faster. She blinked forward like a pulse of light and kicked the hunter midair, sending it spinning into the ceiling. She was moving like liquid fire. Dane had never seen anything like it. She wasn't just fighting. She was controlling the space, every step, every motion, every flash of her light. It all flowed like she'd done this 100 times before, like her body finally remembered its true form. One hunter grabbed her from behind, snarling, "Got you now, freak!" Bzzzt! Her entire body lit up. Energy surged through her back and into the creature's chest. It screamed and then it was gone. Rin turned slowly, breathing heavy now. Sweat rolled down her face. The glow flickered slightly. She looked at Dane. I'm not limitless, but I'm enough. Dane nodded, eyes wide. You're more than enough. The last hunter stood in the shadows, bigger, smarter, silent. Its armor was black and gold, its mask smoother than the rest. It carried no gun, only a blade as long as a man's. Like it didn't rush, it walked forward slowly, watching. Rin stepped between it and Dane. It's mine. The creature spoke, its voice like static and gravel. You are not natural. You are not real. You were meant to be erased. Rin raised her chin. I was meant to survive. The fight was brutal. It struck fast. She moved faster. They clashed. In the center of the lab, light versus shadow, old rage versus new purpose. He slashed. She dodged, he stabbed. She caught the blade mid-air with glowing hands. She cried out in pain as it sliced through her palm. But she held on. And then, with a roar, she forced the blade down, twisted, and drove her elbow into its mask. Crack! The mask shattered. Underneath was a pale, deformed face, half human, half alien. Rin froze. You were like me, the hunter snarled. I was the first. You were the perfected. And then it lunged again. But this time she didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, face inches from his, and whispered, I'm not your sister. I'm your end. A final pulse of blue light blasted outward. The hunter disintegrated into dust. Silence returned. Dane ran to her side. She dropped to her knees, exhausted, shaking. He caught her, held her as her glow slowly faded. She looked up at him. Did I do it? He smiled. Yeah, you stood. You didn't run. Her lips trembled. Then, maybe now, I can stop running. Forever. Outside, the first light of morning touched the trees. Inside the ruined lab, 2 survivors stood. One human, one not. But both alive. Both changed, and neither alone anymore. The new bloodline. The sun rose slowly, like even it was afraid to look down. Smoke drifted from the ruined lab behind them. Cracks ran through the old earth walls. Faint sparks blinked out one by one. The past was dying, and something new was being born. Dane helped Rin walk down the rocky path. She limped, her glow dimmed now, flickering gently under her skin like an ember that refused to die. Her breaths were shaky, but steady. You should rest, he said. I can rest when I'm free, she whispered. They reached a cliff edge overlooking the valley, lush trees, black rivers, shattered alien towers swallowed by roots down there. The last of the hunters were gone. For now. Dane looked at her. You sure they won't send more? They will, Rin said. But not yet. They don't know what I became. He raised an eyebrow. And what did you become? She turned, to him slow and tired but smiling. Something new. Not weapon, not monster. I'm a seed. Dane blinked. A seed? She placed a hand over her chest. My blood carries 2 worlds. My mind holds 2 truths. But my soul. She paused, breathing deep. My soul belongs to the people who never gave up on me. Her eyes met his. And that's you. They built a fire that night beneath the cliff, far from the lab. Rin sat beside it, her legs crossed, staring into the flames. Dane boiled water. His rifle stayed close, his eyes stayed closer on her. I keep thinking, he said, about what happens next. She looked up. I could try to take you to Earth, but the brass will lock you up in a lab before you can say hi. I won't go back in a cage, she said softly. He nodded. Didn't think so. Silence. The fire cracked. Then she spoke again. There may be others like me. Fails, hybrids, lost in systems, hidden in files, buried in dirt. Dane's voice dropped. Then they'll need someone to find them. Her eyes lit up. We can find them. He raised an eyebrow. You sure? You're strong enough for that? She smiled. I wasn't strong. Until you pulled me out of the mud. Until you looked at me like I was real. Later that night, Dane sat half asleep by the fire when he heard her voice again. Dane. He opened, his eyes. Rin stood in the moonlight, her skin dimly glowing under the stars. She held out her hand. There's something I need to show you. He followed her into the jungle until they reached a quiet clearing surrounded by tall silver-leaf trees. She pointed to the ground. There, glowing faintly, was a strange flower blooming from the dirt. Blue, alive, pulsing like a heartbeat. This grew from my blood, she said, from where I bled yesterday. He knelt beside it. It's not from Earth. Not from here either. No, she said. It's from me. A new species. A living signal. She looked at him. It means I can grow, I can heal, and maybe I can pass it on. Dane's heart beat hard. He knew what she was saying. You mean like, create more? Not clones, not weapons, she said. Something better. Children born of choice, not control. She stepped close. You saved me when I was no one. Now I want to give that life to others, not just my blood, but my hope. Dane swallowed hard. And you think I should be part of that? She touched his chest. You already are. In that moment, the story shifted. It was no longer about survival. It was about legacy. 2 species, 2 souls, 1 future. 2 weeks later, a small camp, somewhere hidden. Off the maps, Dane and Rin worked together, setting up old solar panels, clearing land, building a safe space from ruins. She called it Haven, a place where no one would be hunted for what they were born as, where humans and hybrids could stand side by side. Rin sat under a tree, sketching symbols into the dirt. What's that? Dane asked. She looked up. A name. For us. For what we are. He smiled. What does it mean? It means, she whispered, new bloodline. Far above the sky, satellites blinked. Hidden eyes watched. And somewhere in a distant command room, a man in a dark suit stared at Rin's face-on. A cracked screen, he leaned forward. She's alive. A woman behind him spoke. Should we send another team? He shook his head. No, not yet. Let her think she's safe. He turned away from the screen, smiling coldly. Let her build. Let her grow. We'll come for the seeds. When they bloom.